Morning. Yeah, I know. I just did the same thing. A couple of minutes ahead. Well, I'm not sick. I'm here. So we're battling some things with the guys, but we think we'll be okay. Rick's taking care of that. But other than that, I'll just open it up.
Yeah, is there something going around the defense?
I don't know that. Again, some guys got some colds, and I think what they're trying to do is protect so the rest of us don't get it. But
Are there any health protocols, that are still kind of in place from the pandemic years that, or are you talking as a coaching staff about maybe?
Not really. I'll be honest with you. It's probably a better question for Rick. I mean, I'm just grinding along. Get in the meeting room, go to practice field. Honestly, I'm not sure that they're having the players do anything different or not. That's Rick.
One of the things we talked about last week after the Broncos game is you weren't as good in the kind of quick turn situations.
Sudden challenge or sudden change, yeah.
Kind of the same thing this past
Yep.
week in those
Yep.
fields.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all defense, but is there anything different about those situations?
No, I mean, there should be a sense of urgency. It's hard. One was at the 17. I think that was the second one. And the way we look at it in that situation, you got to hold them to a field goal. That's our job, right? And to have them score in 2 plays was really disappointing. The other one is around the 42 or something. I mean, that's plenty enough field there where you're not supposed to give up a touchdown. So we do always talk about sudden change, sudden challenge situations, what offenses like to do in them during those. And we just got to be better at it. I mean, the 17-yard line was obvious. I mean, you don't have to be real intelligent in football to realize we lost contain over there and the quarterback took off. So we got to tighten some of those things up.
So what is the challenge, Steve, in those situations as opposed to just taking the field after?
Well, especially away, the whole place is juiced up. The home team just got the ball back. Turnovers are big in this league. We know they make a huge difference in wins and losses. And, and again, some teams are quick strike. They'll take the first play and throw it down. We talk about that. We look at it every week. Other teams don't do that. But I keep going back to the sense of urgency has to go up. Not that it shouldn't be high when you're going out there in a normal situation, but I just think that the fact that the offense coming on the field is juiced up because they just got an extra possession, gives them maybe a little advantage. Initially, you got to take that away. Try to get them off the field in 3 plays.
Coach, you faced the likes of Mike Williams, Mike Evans, 2 big physical type receivers.
Yeah.
What is the challenge this week against a guy who's 6'4", 236 pounds, and DK Metcalf?
I was, sometimes I go on the internet and try to get pictures for my meetings and stuff, and there was a picture of Metcalf without a shirt on. And I'm like, good God. I mean, what a stud, right? Reminded me of T.O. when I had T.O. and we had T.O. in Philadelphia. But, yeah, he plays a powerful game. He'll out-muscle guys. Talked about it all week long. We got to find ways to maybe get 2 on him. He's a go-to guy. And even I watch teams that double him at times, and sometimes that doesn't make a difference because he's just so physically bigger and stronger than the guy he's going against. But we got to limit those kind of plays.
Coach, I know this question wouldn't really apply to all your young guys, right? We talk a lot about them, but 7 straight division championships, 4 straight times in the AFC Championship game. I mean, for some of the veterans that have been around here for a while, can it get boring? I mean, you have to find
take it for granted.
Especially now when maybe not even once you clinched it, but even before, where you could see that it was almost inevitable, right? I know coaches never want to say that, but is it tough to get up if you're a veteran guy that's...
It'd probably be a better question for them. I know it's not for us as coaches because we continue to know what's at stake, in every game. And I would say this, even when, this is how I'm built, even when it is wrapped up, let's say it didn't matter what we did in these 3 games in the positions, whatever it is, I still find it hard to back off because once you do that, and then all of a sudden you got to play in a playoff game. So I just think in this business it's a week-to-week thing, and guys need to approach it that way, and we as coaches need to get them to approach it that way. Put the blinders on. What happened already doesn't mean anything. What's going to happen 2 or 3 weeks from now, we can't go there. This league is too good. It doesn't matter who you play. We saw that last week, right? 1-11. And I'll tell you what, Lovey did a great job getting that. And then the last thing you want to do is have the sour taste as you're trying to do this at the end of the year going into the playoffs. So, I haven't seen that in the vets. I'm hoping that doesn't happen because we still got a lot of work to do.
How much much can you raise it up? How much can a coaching staff?
Yeah, I think Andy does a great job of it. I mean, Andy's rock solid. Wouldn't matter whether we lost 3 or win 3. I mean, he's just rock solid. I think the guys appreciate that, and because he never changes, we just go about our business every week like we should, like it's one game at a time. I know it's an old cliche, but that's about where it's at.
When it comes to this, Coach, when you look at the stats coming out of games this season, your defensive backfield have given up more touchdowns to wide receivers than any other team in the league.
Yeah.
How do you coach? I mean, how do you coach them up, coach them out of that? What type of adjustments do you
Yeah,
think
well,
you need, especially
yeah, going forward, yeah.
Because you got DK and well, not Tyler this week, but a couple weeks you got Devontae Adams, and then Lord knows who you'll have in the playoffs.
Yeah. So listen, somebody put that on my desk. I get a lot of stuff, and I saw what you're talking about. It's a little discouraging. I had no idea it was like that. But yeah, no, I know it. Listen, if it's out there, I'm going to get the question, so it's not a big deal. It's a little discouraging, and yet there isn't anything we can do about those, right? It's what we got to do going forward. And you hope that the foundation of the number of plays that the young guys has helps us down the road. But it's not just secondary when it's pass rush, it's everything. I'd have to go back and look at them all, to give you an assessment of what it is. But that jumped on me. I was kind of surprised by it. But listen, the one thing we know about this league is people throw the football. And so if we don't find ways to keep them out of the end zone when they throw it, it's going to get challenging for us when we get down the stretch here and start playing these good teams. But having said that, we just keep working at what we're doing, try to get better at it.
What's been your evaluation of the linebackers in coverage, and how do you maybe just continue to plug away there?
Yeah, there's been I think they do a real solid job in what we ask them to do. However, I think they'll tell you that, we're a pad and match team when we play zones, and there's been instances when the matches haven't been as tight as they should be. And we work on it every week. I think it's an eyes thing. I'm always talking to them about their eyes. And there are areas this year that needed to improve, and yet I think there's a lot of times that goes unnoticed, because remember, when somebody covers it and matches it like they're supposed to, sometimes the ball doesn't go there. Those are the ones I see. But you're right in some of the holes that have been there.
One of the things, Coach, when you look at last year, the last couple of years with Frank, people will look at his contract versus production. I know with the whole stuff this season and him being out a couple of games, what have you seen from Frank Clark this season that has jumped out at you?
Well, I tell you what, I mean, I thought the last play that we were on the field this past week is what Frank Clark is all about. I mean, the word relentless we use all the time defensively. He's the epitome of that. And I think if you go through his 4 years here, I think you'd find other plays. I have it because I show it periodically, because I always tell the guys, pass rushers keep rushing the passer. He had one here in Arrowhead, where I think he fell down, he got up, he turned around, the quarterback. It might have been Watson. No, it was Watson, I believe. But it was a perfect example of Frank, in that he's relentless in that he keeps on rushing. Guys that do that have a chance of having the result that we had on this past Sunday. But he keeps doing that, that'll help us.
We'll close it out with Nate, PJ, and Matt.
Steve, how would you assess the middle of the field in terms of coverage this year involving linebackers and safeties? I guess part of that is some of the zone matching.
Yeah. I don't recall, I mean, in this league, they have what we call all-go special, or 4 verts, and I don't recall a lot of that. Now, there may have been what we call some speedos and some, I know Trent had a penalty. He was back there. I don't sense or feel like it's been a weakness now, without looking at all of them, and all the games kind of run together. But, I know, like even in watching this team, they'll take 4 verticals, they bend these guys in, and they hit verticals. I don't remember that happening to us a lot. So in that, if I go just off of that, it's been solid without putting my eye on every one of them.
Coach, I know that you've worked on Seattle's offense, but have you caught some clips of their rookie DBs and how they're doing?
I haven't. I honestly haven't. I just only look at the other side of the ball. Do they got some good young DBs? Am I missing out on something?
I'm going to jump in. I know, I'm sorry.
We got
your
2
thoughts.
in line, yeah, so let's go Matt, and then we'll get started.
Coach, you spoke about Frank's relentlessness, but you curious about Willie's effort on the fumble recovery, what you thought of that.
Oh, yeah. Well, him and Nick were involved in that, because, that pile, you don't know what's going on down there. I found out later on all the stuff that was going on. But you're right in that. I talked about Frank. There were a lot of guys that were relentless to the ball in that play because everybody was swarming around. I think Derek Knighty might have been involved, some other ones. But to come up with that ball like Willie did was huge. And that was kind of just, he was determined to get it, and he did. Thank God, that was big.
Last one's right.
Coach, nobody fumbles more as a position than the quarterback, right? They don't see it coming, they're only holding
Yeah.
the ball. You guys are near the top of sacks, yet you're down at the bottom of forced fumbles. Is that
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, it's stressed all the time, but you're right. You'd think in a couple of those you might get the ball knocked out, right?
Like you're due, for lack of a better term?
I hope you're right. I mean, Frank did get the one that didn't go as a sack, obviously, because I think he got past the line of scrimmage, right? Yeah, I mean, you guys see it when you're out there in individual. Joe's out there, and you got that dummy, that red dummy, right, with those hands, and you're always working the tomahawk, get it out. I hope we've saved them all up for the end. That'd be a nice thing to have happen. That's a good point you bring it up. I do know I watch the guys work on it. I see Brendan working on it. I tell the guys all the time in an individual drill, I tell the coaches, finish with the ball, either scooping it up or knocking it down or picking up something so we can get our hands on the ball. But hopefully some of those will finish in sack fumbles.
Thank you. I think we're done.
About running back, but
We're
Kenneth
done.
Walker, what's he do for them?
Really good. I don't know if you've probably seen the stat. He leads the league, or right in the tops of the league, of long runs for touchdowns. That's concerning for us.